this is Cheri at djsundry.blogspot.com, and I am going to make a card for you today. Now, I've already done some of the prep work, but we are going to be using the Make It From Your Heart Volume 1 patterns, and we are going to be using pattern 25, which is on page 45, and I've already done all of the cutting on this, and I will tell you that this card is a vertical card, but I'm actually turning it to go horizontal. So the paper pack that I am using is the Dreamin' Big paper pack. Now, I have to tell you that I prefer, instead of buying just the paper pack, although sometimes I do for extra, but I usually prefer to purchase the Workshop Your Way. And the reason I like to do that is because, well, you can always download the instructions and make the workshops your way, which usually includes 3 2-page 12 by 12 layouts, a few cards, but you have to add a few supplies to make the cards, but not the layouts. And then there's always embellishments in it. For this particular one, we've got some twine. We have a complement pack, which has the cardstock stickers in here, and then it also included, this particular one included some of these plastic pieces that say Happy Place, and they were probably part of the layout as well. And then also there's usually some other type of embellishment. In this case, it is the sequins. I haven't decided if we're going to use the sequins yet. I know we won't be using these two things, so I'm just going to set them aside. Now, I'm also using the Dreamin' Big card maker set. Now, you can typically purchase this 2 different ways. The first way that you can purchase it, which is how I purchased it, was as a bundle with the thin cuts, so that the thin cuts will enable you to cut the dragonfly, the 2 butterflies, and I believe the little ladybug down there. However, unfortunately, this one is already sold out, but you can still just purchase the stamps, and I am using the stamps for this particular kit. So let's get started, and I will show you the prep work that I have done to make it a little bit easier. So I have my card base here. This is a regular 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card base, and I have already decorated the inside. So this fun paper is with little bugs and beetles and dragonflies and different kind of things, and I just think it's so spring-like. And then I took a piece of Whisper cardstock that also came in the kit, and I cut that. So I cut this one, actually I cut it at about, it's just a little bit wider than 5 1/4, and that's just simply because that was the width of the piece of paper that I had sitting there, and I didn't want to waste it. And then it's at about 4 1/8 inches wide. And then I took poppy ink and went around the edges. And then I cut the Whisper an inch smaller because I wanted you to get to see plenty of the bugs, but I also wanted to have plenty of room to write my sentiment inside, or write my note inside. And I may come back and do some stamping on the inside. We'll just decide as we go on. The other thing that I've done to prepare this cardstock is I also took the poppy ink, and I just use old makeup wedges. I have other sponges that you can use as well. Maybe you have the Tim Holtz sponges, or I use the Close to My Heart sponge, and I use that to kind of go around it. But this time I just used the makeup wedge. So that is our first piece. Now, using the sketch, and again I told you the original sketch was designed to go this way, but I'm turning it this way. And so the first piece, the sketch says, should be 5 1/4 by 4 inches. So this is that piece of paper, and I've already cut it to 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and I've sponged around it with the poppy. Now you see that the other side is the bugs, but I wanted the larger pattern for on top. So we are just going to go ahead and adhere that down right now. And that is going to be our base. Now, I thought about finishing this with Whisper instead of the poppy, but I decided, because I'm using Whisper in it, that I wanted to use the poppy for that little contrast. Okay, so the next set that I have, I chose the Whisper, another piece of the Whisper, and again I've gone around the edges with poppy, and it is 4 1/4 by 3 inches, and that is just going to go right in the center of the card. Now, when you're using a sketch, it kind of gives you a springboard, but it allows you to use your own ideas and imagination. You will see that this card will look nothing like the sketch card that I have over here, but it just provided me with a springboard to get going with it. Then the next piece that I have is supposed to be 4 inches by 2 3/4 inches, and that's where I pulled out the other side of the paper. Now, because this is a smaller pattern than this pattern, it doesn't seem to be too busy, and we are mixing our papers. Again, I went over the edges with the poppy, and we are breaking it up by having that nice bold whisper cardstock around it. So it would be probably too busy if I put this paper directly onto this paper, but by doing it this way, it breaks it up a little bit, and I'm continuing to bring my eye into the center. And then the last piece, I actually pulled out one of the Picture My Life cards from this set, and I trimmed it down. Now it says that the size on this should be 3.5 by 2 1/4, and this was a 3 by 4 Picture My Life card, which fortunately had a lot of white space on the top and the side. And rather than stamping or popping up flowers and butterflies like they did over here on my sketch, I decided to go with the print to start with that's on the Picture My Life card. But I want to do my stamping before I adhere it. And the reason I do that is just because if I make a mistake, while I'm stamping, it's not going to mess up all the work that I've already done, and I can pull another piece and do something different. So again, I've gone around that with poppy, and I'm going to do just because. That's all I'm going to say is just because with my poppy, which I've already opened because this is the old poppy. And I am just going to ink up my stamp, which I have actually used this stamp on another project, so I know that it's already pre-prepped. And I am going to decide. Now I'm going to pull this off camera just for a second so I can kind of decide where I want to go. Okay. I don't want to get my head in there. Just because. Just like that. Just wipe off my stamp. And I just use a baby wipe and set that aside. And that is going to go right here. Now I could do a couple of different things, and I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to pop that up with a little bit of foam tape just to add that little extra dimension, and it probably will not add so much thickness that you can't mail it or that you have to pay extra for mailing it. I don't anticipate that because this is relatively thin foam tape. It's not super thick, and I'm only putting 1 layer. So I don't anticipate it being a problem, but if you're concerned about it, definitely take it and ask your postman if it's going to cost you more. And then this just goes in the center. Make sure it's good, and that just gives it a little bit more dimension. Now what I want to do is I want to pull over here some of the stickers from the pack, and we're going to build up this corner just a little bit. And I had decided that I think I want to use this fun little beetle fly thing. And he's just going to come off the top, although that makes him look like he's, let's see. Just like that, add a little bit more interest to that corner. And then let's pull out our sequins. Now in our original one, it had lots of little, not lots, but a few little pearls on it. They put them in the corners, and they put them in the center of the flowers and up the butterfly. I'm not going to use quite that many, but we are going to use a couple here and there. And let's see which sequins we want to use. So these are the sequins that came in the kit, as I previously mentioned, but none of them are poppy. And I don't like the cream. The green's kind of pretty, and then we've got quite a bit of green going on in there. Let's see. I'm just going to press them, set them on without pressing them on, because I'm not sure. Let's put one. Okay. So now we've just added a little bit of extra fun to that, and it's not exactly like our sketch, but again, we're using our own creativity and taking a sketch and just using it as a springboard. So there we have today's card. Now I want to show you a couple of other cards that I made using the same sketch, and these two cards were made using the Some Kind of Wonderful stamp or kit. And so this is the first one, again using the same sketch, only going off the other side. Now the stamp set that I used was this month's stamp of the month, and it is a super fun one that you really should check out. It's only available through the end of March, but I use a Some Kind of Wonderful paper pack and raspberry ink to kind of spice that one up. And then this also used the Same Kind of Wonderful pack, and it used that Same Kind of Wonderful thin cut combination bundle, which last I knew is still available. And for the rest of the month of March, it is on sale for 25% off. So I would definitely, that's only while supplies last, and I would jump over there and get this super fun set. So we have 3 very different cards made using the exact same sketch. So I hope that gives you some ideas and some things that you can make and some fun things to do. And thank you so much for stopping by today. And remember, take some time to enjoy the little things. Have a great day. Bye.